Hello makers, welcome back. This is Vinny from Young Laser. In this video, we will show you how to replace a laser tube on MIRA9. To do that, you're gonna need these tools. Before we start, there is a little reminder. When we're replacing the laser tube, certainly you shut it down, but we still need to discharge the tube because there's some static electricity that was stored here ahead of time. So to do that, you want to use a screwdriver insulated at the handle. You want to hold this and gently touch the brass head, like this, just to make sure it is discharged, and it is. So you could always use a wire to connect it from here to the ground. That'll do the work too. To replace a laser tube, we just need to drain the water first, remove the old one, install the new one, inject water, that's it. But we just need to be very careful since we're dealing with high voltage. You see these water tubes here, right? They're like all underneath the tube, which would be hard for us to do anything about them. So we want to loosen these 4 screws here, but just these 4. You don't want to mess with the one on the bottom. Okay, now let's remove these brackets away. And we gently turn the laser tube until the water tubes are facing to us, which is a lot easier for us to pull this off. Now you want to hold this part and then you want to use a knife. Now you can still pull this off, but it's a bit tight, so I'm gonna go with a knife. You want to cut the head part. Okay, then let's try to unplug it. Then we can see that the water is drifting from the pipe. You see the bubbles? Beautifully out of the tube. I think the water's out, so we can plug this part as well. Still, we use a knife to... Okay, now still we're gonna use a knife to cut off the black insulating tape. And now that we take off the black insulating tape, we'll just need to remove this. You see there is an opening here, right? So you can easily take this off. And then we're gonna cut off the heat shrinking tubing and the wires in it. We will use a tweezer. Just cut them off easily. Okay, now let's take this tubing away. Now, you might want to cut this part off. Now, we want to cut off a part of the red ones too. You want to let more wires show off so that when we install the tube back, we can twist them easily. Now, let's move to the cathode part. We'll do the same, just cut off the heat shrinking. And here, the same. We want to review more wires. Like this. Alright, now we can finally remove this old laser tube and install the new one. But just notice that when you're holding a laser tube, you want to be gentle and careful. Okay, now we install the new one. Gently. And then we put these brackets back as a protection. But we're in no hurry to tighten the screws back yet because we might need a few room to turn the cube yet. Okay, now time to do wires. Firstly, we want to put some new heat shrink tubing back. And we're gonna twist these wires together. Now we're gonna solder them with a solder gun. Okay, now Now we put the heat shrink tubing back. And we use a hot air gun to shrink it. And remember this one? We're gonna put this one back. Okay. And last, we're gonna use some black insulating tape to cover and connect them as a protection. Alright, nice and tight. Now that we finished the anode, time to do the cathode part. It's pretty much the same. We just put some heat shrink tubing back and we twist the wires here. Again, now we solder them together. Okay, last part is we put the hot shrink tubing back and shrink them. Alright guys, remember how we unplugged these water tubes? It's time to plug them in. Like, still we need to gently turn the laser tube until the input and output is facing to us, which makes it a lot easier to plug them in. Just like this. Okay, now we're good. Okay, don't forget this. Now we gently turn the laser tube until you see this side up. Okay, now time to screw these back at here, 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 and here. We don't want to screw them that tight because later we might need them to do some adjustments. Okay, now we need the water back, so just turn it on. It'll inject water automatically, but let's give it some time, let it run for a while. Okay, first thing here is we need to make sure that the beam path here is still the way it was. So if we pause, it should be at the center of the circle. We'll just stick an acrylic here and we'll hit pause. Okay, relatively it's on the center, so we're good. But if yours is a bit far from the center, you might want to do some adjustments. And to do that, you see there's a roller here. You can just roll them. That controls up and down. If you feel like it's too tight, there are screws here. There are 2 of them, and you can unscrew them. That'll give you more space to roll this. Okay, as for left and right, that's controlled by the 4 screws here. And of course, we have 1 more here. Okay, normally, if you didn't recently just change the support, you don't have to go this far. But let's say if you did, you might want to unscrew them. That'll give you some space to gently move this support. Alright, now we just have to do 1 more test shot here since we already aligned all the mirrors. If you don't know how to do that, you could watch this video. But right now, what we want to make sure is that the beam is coming out of the center of the nozzle. To do that, we'll just stick some tape here. And we pause. And we take this off. You can see there is a circle shape on the tape, right? That's the shape of the nozzle. And by checking the position and the shape of this berm, we can know whether the beam is coming out from the center. And seems like it is. But if yours doesn't, you can always use these two knobs to make more adjustments. Okay, now if you want to have some more double check, feel free to have more test shots at these 4 corners. But like I said, we've already aligned all the mirrors, so it won't be a problem for us. And don't forget to tighten them up at here, 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 and here. Now our job is officially finished. Alright guys, that's how we replace a laser tube on MIRA9. If you find this video is helpful, don't forget to give us a like and follow our channel. If you have more questions about laser, feel free to leave comments. Next time, we'll show you how to align mirrors on Nova. This is everything for this episode. See you next time. Bye!